This is another, you should not put everything in one basket. So explore all the resources. Biomass based cold storage also apparently gives quite good in terms of the, if you look at the right table there, cost of 10 years operation or the payback period. Sorry, payback period is much better than the solar cold storage right now. But in our own experiment, when we ordered first 5 the solar cold storages, the cost was 16 lakhs. When we ordered the second batch, it was 14.5 lakhs per system. So just like the solar PV electricity prices fell down, you are all aware. Just about 10 years ago, what was the price? 17 to 20 rupees per unit. And what's the price now? We are talking of 3 rupees, 4 rupees per unit. There are stocks of 2.5, etc. I don't want to get into that because that's really not that's a killing price. Vendors will not make the profit. Vendors have to make profit for the product to continue, sustain, and business to prosper. So just killing each other will not help. So in my view, it should be 3.5 to 4 rupees per unit of power, not really go below 3. Anyway, that's a different subject matter of debate and discussion. Solar dryers are another big area because those there are 2 or 3 important advantages of drying, solar drying. Number one is you will have a lot of shelf life. So you can negotiate for a lot of price, significant price increase. And second thing is you don't need, of course, energy cost. You will not need. And most important is apparently it is nutrition rich. Apparently there are quite a significant number of studies which have cased this. So solar dryers is a big area. Till now, 3,500 solar dryers have been put up. And first estimate, as I said, just a quick estimate done by one of the, some of these are put up. These 4 or 5 slides are from CEW, an NGO, right? So they have put up 2 lakh. You can have quite a big number just from 3 states. Definitely, when you include all the states, the numbers are going to be huge. And since it is a product which is typically, I'm a fan of thermal area, that is heat applications or cold applications, because the products are indigenous and fabricated in India and sold in India, which increases the employment opportunity and enterprise opportunity. So what you see here on the left bottom side is a dryer. On the right side is an interesting thing. I bumped into this company called Train Technologies. It's a big multi-billion-dollar company, US-based company, which is doing space cooling for Walmart and things like that. So this set of people whom you see on the bottom picture, led by Varghese and a few interested youngsters, they developed this simple looking, you are seeing a cart. It's a simple cart which vegetable vendor will takes around to sell his produce. What happens typically, his or her day typically starts from 3:30 in the morning. They buy it from the wholesale mandi, and they had to sell this produce, particularly leafy vegetable, by 4 o'clock in the evening. Otherwise, it will get it really kind of you will not be able to sell it, and next day definitely it's not possible. So what they did, they pulled out the reflective sheet, which they have been using for other purposes, and trialed it. What it does is it reflects the heat back. It doesn't allow it to come inside. If you see the top picture, it's a you see a canopy on the cart that woman is selling. So this reduces the temperature inside the cart by 8 to 12 degrees centigrade. So thereby, if you do that, then in the night you just pull it down, because of that cooling effect will still carry on in the night. So this leafy vegetables can be sold for another 2 days, and that is good enough for the vendor to dispose of all the produce that they have been they have purchased. So otherwise, they ended up losing something like 45% of their produce. It seems these are the estimates, and globally this loss is about $750 billion every year. So this simple frugal techniques can make a lot of difference, particularly in the decentralized renewable energy solutions. So solar powered vertical fodder growing units, where you can use, you can keep the fodder, animal fodder fresh, thereby the animal will give higher yield, and you will recover this investment made in just a very short period of time. So similarly, bulk milk chiller, we have so many in the country. Every few villages together, you will find a milk chiller units, and typically you will also see a 10 to 20 kilowatt diesel set. So you can do away with diesel set or definitely reduce the diesel consumption. So till now, 350 or so bulk milk chillers are solarized. So you have a lot of potential. Just this is an estimate made based on only 3 states. You have 90,000, but if you again go around all the states, you will find a lot more. And the price, once you have a bigger scale, bigger mass production, the cost will also reduce. Similarly, solar refrigerators, deep freezers. I'm just passing by just to show you the products. Solar looms, we have number of looms, right? I mean, just this Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and West Bengal are the big states where 600,000 looms are there, and charakas are another big number. It runs to tens of lakhs, which also can be solarized. I think here we go. So by making the solarized charaka, it will yield higher by 2 to 3 times, reduce the drudgery to the women, and the quality of the product that is a fabric will also be much improved in terms of the strength. So these are all like with a good payback, like 3 years, anything between 2 to 4 years. I mean, these are other if some people want to take an enterprise, why not do a institutional premises, you solarize them, to take them to the net zero. Or if you have a lake in your area, can we not do a floating solar? Because some areas, some states like Bihar, land is of prime cost, because there are very huge fragmented lands for farming. Given a piece of land, people would like to farm rather than put up solar panels like in Ladakh or in Rajasthan or in Gujarat. So, coming to thermal applications, this what we generally whenever we say energy, that we get into electrical. But if you take a look at the total primary energy, all energy used, actually the heat application, all cook stoves or the industries using for process heat, these together actually are 50%. Whereas electricity, the minute we say energy, we go to electricity. But we must to be conscious of thermal applications, and that's where huge scope exists for the smaller entrepreneurs, whereas the electricity is managed by the huge discoms and big companies, whereas this heat application, by nature, they are decentralized and they need smaller entrepreneurs. India is blessed because of our nature of applications, nature of resources. We have tremendous scope for enterprise and employment around this subject, which is not touched, and also it's like virgin in a way. Not much has happened. Even that's what, in fact, I say that ministries still need to give a lot of emphasis on these applications. So just take agriculture residue. We have a surplus of more than 250 million tons, and each entrepreneur can run a plant which is like 1 to 10 ton per day, so 300 tons per year. So you have so much of scope for just this. Just take example of Surat. I was involved in a quick survey where I'm involved in making energy efficient boilers, a project through UNIDO. here, so we were examining the boilers. What is the fuel they are using? What's the current efficiency? So since December last year, that is 2021, they all have shifted. Almost 80% of the people have shifted from coal to briquettes, because the coal prices increased from 7 rupees to 14 rupees. And Indian coal has a lower calorific value, and briquettes has a higher calorific value than just the biomass. So briquettes is about 4,000 to 4,500 kilocalories per kg, whereas coal is about 5,000 kilocalories per kg. So on comparative basis, you have 8 rupees per kg for briquettes, and so almost 80% of the surveyed units in Surat converted, changed their fuel from coal to briquettes. And briquetting can really be a very big area for the enterprises. In addition to this, you would have heard about last year budget speech in financial budget speech, where 10% is mandated for companies like NTPC to use agriculture residue. This is precisely to increase entrepreneurs, enterprises, and employment opportunity. And another big area is all what we waste. I would say we should really campaign for net zero wet waste. No wet waste should go from houses. So yeah, here in Bangalore, one of the person he's selling this biogas digesters, which take 2 kgs. Typically, a household of 5 or 6 people would generate about 2 kgs of wet waste per day. And if it is 10-15 people, it's 5 kgs. So he has produced them. So we wherever there is a little bit of terrace, we should definitely convert either to compost or generate gas and use it as to meet our partial gas requirement. Thereby we reduce there also. On one hand, we use the waste, we will not transport it, we will not create another pollution cycle, but on the other hand, reduce our LPG. So these are some of the pictures. And on the, as I said, improved cook stove still have a lot of potential, and these are different models. And there are models which are, in India, there are 125 different models, but still it's a big challenge, because a stove which is like most convenient to housewife or whoever cooks for that matter is still a mirage. So that's how you will see still a 126th model is coming. So whenever I give talk at the premier engineering colleges or IIT, I always say, if you can design a stove which your grandmother clears, that is your test for your engineering capability. So it's still a mirage, I would say. But this is one of the stove which is very good in terms of the efficiency, and it can take residues comfortably. So there are quite a few options there. And then another area is this biomass gasifiers for heat applications. If you see here on the left side, the bar graph, these are little old, but ratio holds good. If you see, if you run many enterprises run use biomass as fuel, electricity as fuel, wood as fuel, kerosene or LPG. If you use gasifier, you can reduce it by 50%, and so that's so that the graph very clearly shows how much you can save by burning the biomass in a reactor like gasifier. Here are some examples in a bleaching unit, dyeing unit, in silk reeling units, where it comfortably reduces 60% of the biomass used. Even in a lead melting unit, on condiments making, series of uses. In fact, in Adame Chetana Foundation, which was run by former member of parliament and minister Ananta Kumar's wife, they tried the first energy service company model, where they will not buy the gasifier, but they will buy the services. So you give the steam which they were earlier getting through the LPG. So you have an agreement to give the steam. So that kind of a service company was also also piloted. So I'll skip this. Solar water heaters, you all know, but it holds a lot of promise. We should really, for example, Greece has 60% of all new instance, 60%, 60, all new installations with solar water heater. Whereas India, the best is in Pune and Bangalore with just 15%. Whereas Greece has much worse in terms of the weather conditions. We have much better, but our uptake is so as of now so low. That means we have so much of potential. It can take up thousands of enterprises and lakhs of people. It can engage just this subject. As of now, solar water heaters in the country, we have just 20 million meter square which we have engaged, whereas we have 300 million houses. Each house can have 1 square meter. That means 300 million meter square is the least. And I'm not even counting the 60 million enterprises, MSME units, which you can also you make use of the solar water heaters. And there was a design also. I was involved in design for the hilly area, because they will have to carry them in the back head loads. So this was designed particularly for that, but somewhere it did not take off, but there is potential that it can be improved and one can take off. So another area is the solar concentrators. You would have seen reverse umbrella shaped these things that you can produce steam over 80 degrees centigrade. Below to 80 degrees centigrade is through the solar water heaters. Above 80 degrees, something like this, which is solar concentrators. You concentrate the solar power for thermal applications. For example, Shirdi makes 20,000 people meals using these solar dishes. And similarly, if you see Chennai, RK Mission, they have a steam storage system, so that they can make meals. The first meal, they have to start at 4 o'clock in the morning, so that they can serve it at 7 o'clock in the morning to the children. That is a first breakfast. So they completely shifted from LPG to solar-based steam system. So these are different systems. Every applications there have been pilots and very useful push has been there for the solar concentrators. So I'm not going into these details. We are just mindful of time. Solar distillation is another. We have a number of areas. West Bengal is with arsenic, a good number of districts, and Karnataka, 2-3 districts are with fluoride. The solar distillation units it doesn't require any electricity, no other energy, just the solar sun rays. You can convert the fluoride water into potable. In fact, you can even convert the sewage, almost sewage water into potable water. And these houses, when we build, if we build them with all the renewable energy integration, you can actually make them not only net zero energy dwelling, but net negative, in the sense you can sell power. So I made this, I'm working with World Bank in trialing this, for Prime Minister's Awas Yojana, where 25 square meters of houses are built for the economically weaker section. Typically, the house which you see at the bottom. So even if you use 33% of the roof, rest of the roof is available for you for other purposes. That is sufficient to meet fully. If you see the table on the right side below, typically a house of this nature, 1,100 kilowatt hour per year, they will consume, whereas they produce and save by energy efficient appliances, etc. other means 2,000 units of power. So thereby you actually make it not only net zero but start earning. So payback on the investment is little longer. That's why you would need a financial support right now. But otherwise, World Bank is going ahead with a pilot very soon on this. Solar powered micro pumps. I don't understand why we are not really pushing this idea of each house, all of ours. We have normal pumps running. We don't need to fill up our tank in half an hour, 15 minutes. Let it take its time. Let's have a lower wattage pump it can keep filling up the the overhead tank. There are some initial efforts, Odisha, etc. they have made, but for a different purposes. They carry they're using that pump for the shallow water lifting for irrigation, small motors. So these are, I'm leaving this things with you. There are very good, useful 25 different 4 to 5 minutes audio visuals, which you could go at your go through at your convenience. They are all very interesting case studies. So let me just come to my last two slides. At what can we do at household level? We have 300 million houses. We can make net zero energy house. We can make them energy efficient. We can make the solar roof. We can provide cooking solutions, solar induction stoves. I did not talk about it much though. Improved cook stoves, biogas plants, wherever feasible, solar water heaters, solar pumps. It can be individual or at a collective. Zero wet waste, composting, biogas plants, smart metering so that people know what they're consuming. Agriculture, 30 million electrical and diesel pump sets are there. Till now, only about 3 lakh solar pumps are put up. We have potential for 30 million. And at the SHG level or at the village level, we have 7.5 lakh SHGs and 600,000 villages. Mini grid, microgrid, common compost, upflow anaerobic sludge blanket reactor, so that we don't pass on our wet waste to the landfill or to the rivers. Solar pumps, solar street lights. Every panchayat, they bleed. They have typically 10 to 15 lakhs as their grants. 50% of their grants are spent on electricity bills. We can make that net zero. Enterprises, there are 60 million enterprises. We have enormous scope for solar water heater, solar concentrators, biomass gasifier, solar charka, smithy, plus 400 different products. We have enormous scope for innovation there, improving the products that are already present. So solar on the research development, etc., is solar distillation, solar mixer grinder, many things, even temperatures up to 2000 degrees centigrade, where ceramic, etc., induction furnace also can be done. And we will soon probably have solar cells which are like right now we are running at 17 to 20% efficiency. We are going to definitely go up to 25 to 30%, if not 35%. What happens if with that? Whatever I said, 33% of the roof, if you use, you can make it net zero. That will just become 20 to 25%. So, and one important thing that Davishna wanted me to cover is, where are the resources? We have to look at the blended financing. International funds are there for piloting and trialing something new. Green Climate Fund, until now, globally, $30 billion has been mobilized. Global Environment Facility, 4 billion per cycle of 4 years, and 6 times is the co-financing they look for. Global trust funds like Rockefeller, Ford Foundation, Clinton Foundation, UN agencies. In India, there are 27 UN agencies, and there is now new things of thing of Just Energy Transition Partnership. Indonesia got $20 billion. I'm sure India now is the G20 president. They would look for $100 billion for sure. CSR funds, public sector is 3,000 crores per year. Private sector is 7,000 crores per year. Not necessarily only for energy, but energy is one of the 14 thematic areas here. And National Rural Livelihood Mission and State Rural Livelihood Mission, where we can amalgamate DRE systems. Subsidies, still central government gives some financial assistance, which is called central financial assistance. State subsidies are there. For example, Uttarakhand gives for making use of pine needles. If you make pine needle based briquettes, you get a lot of financial incentive, fiscal incentives, loans. That's important. Small Industrial Development Bank of India, Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency, KfW, German Bank, Asian Development Bank, World Bank. And amongst the policies and schemes they keep piloting, India Cooling Action Plan is one of the major policy document which has come out, which says $1.3 trillion of market in the cooling, which includes space cooling, that is residential cooling, and agriculture value chain, etc. Nationally determined contribution, as I said earlier. So what to watch out in DRE ecosystem for you people? Every state has come out with state action plan on climate change, where there would be knowledge portal. Many of them have. For example, MP It's given here. Scholarships are there for PhD, and skilling programs are there free of cost. Even district climate change action, those who have a flavor for writing, there is a lot. And those who have a flavor for training, there is going to be this training officials, policymakers, officials, media, NGOs, etc. Skills Council for Green Jobs, please watch out their website. India Cooling Action Plan, as I said, they identify a huge market. It will only roll out in the days to come. Clean Energy Access Network gives you a compendium of 100 plus renewable energy products, particularly decentralized renewable energy. That's one agency which actually focuses on decentralized renewable energy. And recently, on the 9th of December last month, Parliament has passed a bill, net zero. I don't know how many of you actually rolled your eyes on it. Net Zero Emission Commission. They are going to have net zero emission councils at state and district level, and government has asked annual reporting to be tabled to Parliament. That means there is a serious job that they are considering towards the coal phase down and towards net zero emission. So I end my presentation here. I will stop sharing and open to questions.
Hello, sir. Good evening. This is
good evening, Renita. Yeah.
This is Dr. Renita Dubey from Urjagram, India, sir. My question to you is, although there are solar energy companies involved in certain projects which are under the government, I would not like to really name the project that has been worked upon. But the thing is that the part of the work is given or subcontracted to other firms for maybe, say, for example, installation and commissioning work. So why is there a disconnect, as far as the execution is concerned, when it comes to like targets, fulfilling targets that this particular project is to be completed at a certain period of time, within that certain time frame. But then the smaller firms who are engaged in some capacity for, say, INC, there is always a disconnect between the upper and the lower level, where the execution becomes a problem for smaller firms, and they end up spending a large sum of money in execution from their own pockets. Where is the you understand my point, sir? The release of funds is an obstacle, a barrier for small firms who are undertaking such INCs. For example, solarizing, we are into solarizing the water pumps across districts, gram panchayats in UP. So how do we really go about solving this problem, where the target of doing it is big, but then the execution at the ground level becomes a great obstacle for organizations like us?
I agree, Dr. Anita. The teeth problems are always can be discouraging significantly. But I'm only trying to give the picture. But I agree, the issues at the ground level, like this nature, not only for the small players, but also for the large players. Wind energy, wind entrepreneurs in Tamil Nadu were up in arms, but that was resolved. But they have the negotiating power. For the smaller these things, it becomes much more difficult to approach and get it resolved. But I am hopeful. Every sector, if you see, if you look at the Net Zero Emission Commission, I would urge you to please go through that. If they are planning to put up a Net Zero Emission Council at district level, and then getting the annual report back, the government is in serious business. So I'm only hopeful. I can't give you a easy solution or a set of solution for your current problem, but I'm only hoping along with you.
Thank you, Dr. Srinivas. With that, we'll wrap up this session. Thank you so much for a comprehensive overview on DRE. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Davishna, for the opportunity given to me to present. Thank you.